You can improve your foreign language speaking skills with these 3 proven tips. If you're new here, ciao amici. My name's Matthew. I used to work for Fluent Forever, and I was mentored by the American polyglot and best-selling author Gabriel Weiner. Since branching out on my own, I've realized I just love learning languages. So I've developed my own tools and techniques, and I'd love to share them with you too. Now, you may already know the basics of a language. You might be able to read and listen to the language, but you just have one big problem. You can't get your mouth to open up and speak in that foreign language. I understand how you feel. I've felt awkward, shy, even drained speaking to others. I've been lost for words in that foreign language. And you know what? Many others in our language learning community have felt the same too. But we've overcome some of those challenges, and wow, the community actually has 3 proven tips that I never thought of, and I want to bring that to your attention so that you don't waste any more time trying to speak but not knowing what to do or what to say. Here are 3 proven tips to improve your foreign language speaking skills. Richard Winter from our language learning community had this to say. He knows how to read German really well. The problem is he just hasn't learned how to speak. And that brings us to tip number 1, read aloud. Reading aloud is a fantastic way to improve your speaking skills, and it can be a first step for you if you're a bookworm like me and you've dug yourself into the books and texts in a foreign language. You have all of this input in your head, but you just haven't opened your mouth to actually speak in that foreign language. Now, as a solution to this, Anthony Byrne from the community says this. Speaking to yourself really is just thinking out loud. He suggests to just read a couple of paragraphs aloud every single day. This whole technique of reading aloud isn't just simply, converting from reading silently to yourself to now opening your mouth and making sure that you enunciate all the words that you see on the page of a book. In fact, there are actual research studies on the effectiveness of reading aloud and how it can improve your speaking skills. There was a recent study on reading aloud in the World Journal of the English Language. The study analyzed a group of Indonesian learners of English. Throughout the study, the students had to do exercises of reading out loud. By the end of the study, the researchers found that reading aloud significantly positively affected students' speaking skills. In fact, when students read out loud, this activity contributed about 20% of that student's improved speaking ability. The study recommends that language learners should try out this reading aloud technique in order to improve your pronunciation and vocabulary. Now, if you don't know where to start and you're overwhelmed with this technique, here are the steps to get started reading out loud. 1. Choose a text. Select a book, an article, or other written material in your target language. 2. Read aloud daily. Set aside 10 to 15 minutes every day so that you can read out your text out loud. 3. Record yourself. Consider using your phone or other recording device to make a recording of yourself reading out loud. Then listen to the playback to identify any areas where you can improve. 4. Compare with native speakers. If you can, find audio versions of the text read by native speakers. Then compare your pronunciation and your intonation to theirs. You're probably thinking now, where can I find some books or texts in a foreign language? Well, I'm here to help, and I've actually gathered a number of different books and texts in different languages from English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, and more along with their audio versions, and I'm giving them to you for free so that you can get started to read aloud right now. Check out the link in the description below where you can get access to these free reading materials and their audio versions. Tip 2. Sing! Now, singing is a fun and effective way to improve your speaking skills. It's a great introduction to opening your mouth and making sounds and using your voice in a very pleasant and enjoyable way. Roger Ramos from our language learning community suggests this. Create versions of songs that you can sing on the spot. You can sing loudly, of course, but you can also do it quietly if there are other people around and you feel shy. For example, he sings, "Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away," in different languages. He switches it up and plays with the language and sings, "Hier, quand mes troubles paraissaient tellement lointains," or "Ayer, cuando mis problemas parecían tan lejanos." Roger really has a lot of fun with the languages and tries to sing even in languages that he has trouble with, like German. And he doesn't care if he sounds like a scratched CD in his words. Yeah, I probably sounded like a scratched CD myself singing just then, but I don't mind. I love singing myself, and I also love music in different languages. And just for something a little fun, I've shared some of the songs in different languages that I really enjoy, and maybe you're curious what kind of music I like, and you can check some of that music out in the description below. I'm also curious to hear what favorite song you're listening to in your target language at the moment. But you're probably wondering, singing, come on, that can't help me with speaking skills in a foreign language, right? Well, there are actually some research studies showing a positive relationship between singing and your speaking skills. Studies show that singing can help with your pronunciation and even your vocabulary. There was actually a longitudinal study, which means some research that spanned over a number of years, which looked at how music and singing affected children's brains and development. This study was published in the scientific journal Cerebral Cortex, and it found that musical training, including singing, helped children's ability to read, as well as other linguistic abilities for speech. In particular, singing and music helped a child's ability to recognize and distinguish the different pitches of sound in a language. So apart from being fun, singing could help you with your speaking skills too. Here are some steps to get started singing to improve your foreign language speaking skills. 1. Select a song. Choose a song that you like, such as the Beatles' Yesterday song, which Roger seems to really like. Then find the lyrics to that song to help you read out the words. 2. Sing along. Listen to the song and then sing, following the words, the intonation and pronunciation of your favorite singer. 3. Play around with the lyrics. You can also use some of the sentences and phrases in the song and change up the words. Instead of using a certain noun or adjective that the song uses, why don't you change it to something else? And if you're adventurous, you could also change the words and translate them to a totally different language, like what Roger does. 4. Practice regularly. You can make it a habit to listen and sing along to your favorite songs. And when you get bored of certain songs, go find out new songs that you can listen to. I've shared some of my favorite songs in different languages that I've learned and studied, and you can go check out that list of songs so you can listen to it too and get inspired as well. So grab your favorite song and start singing in your target language. It can be really fun and an engaging way to speak in a sing-song way in the language. Tip 3. use translation tools. If you come across a situation in a foreign language where you want to say something but you can't string the words together and you haven't yet learned the words or the sentence structures from your textbooks, from your input, or even your flashcards, then using translation tools might be your last resort. And it can still be a great option to get ideas of how to say something that you wanted to say in the foreign language. Nora Ballo from our community recommends this, and she says she uses translation tools a lot. Of course, she tries her very best to express what she wants to say with the words that she already knows, but sometimes she just can't get the words out. She can't string the sentences together. And so she goes and writes down that particular sentence in her native language first into the translation tool. She tries to see what the translation tool gives back to her. And sometimes it gives her words or certain grammar that she hasn't recognized before. She can go look up those new words and grammar. She tries to simplify the text in the translation tool until it comes up with something that she would have come up with herself. This is actually a good idea because it makes sure that she only practices the words and grammar at her current level and maybe pushes her just a little bit. And therefore, she's learning in a personalized context without straining her too much. What I also like about translation tools like Google Translate is that it can actually provide you with an example audio of the sentence or word that you want to say. This helps you to hear what it's supposed to sound like, and you can pretty much shadow or mimic the way that the translation tool says that word or sentence. For example, I know how to say how, come, and I know how to say Colosseum in Italian, Colosseo, but I don't know how to put all of those words together. In Google Translate, I could type in, how do I get to the Colosseum? And then it'll suggest to you an Italian way to say it. There's also that audio button, which you can tap so that you can hear how to pronounce it.
Come posso arrivare al Colosseo? Come posso arrivare al Colosseo?
Then you could practice speaking that same sentence that you wanted to desperately say. Come posso arrivare al Colosseo?
Come posso arrivare al Colosseo? Come posso arrivare al Colosseo?
Come posso arrivare al Colosseo?
Come posso arrivare al Colosseo?
Come posso arrivare al Colosseo?
Come posso arrivare al Colosseo?
Come posso arrivare al Colosseo? Apart from translating whole sentences and giving you the audios for that sentence, Google Translate also helps you with pronunciation of certain words in foreign languages. For example, you could type in how to pronounce hope in English. Then Google Translate will give you different options of British pronunciation or American pronunciation, and you could listen in and see the mouth move and follow that same pronunciation as well. Hope, hope. You can also choose to slow down the pronunciation to make it a lot easier for you. The American pronunciation is also available. Hope, hope. British pronunciation. Hope, hope. This feature in Google Translate is also available in other languages like French. So if you type in how to pronounce lointain in French, then it'll give you the pronunciation. Lointain. Lointain. And of course, it's also got that slow button. Lointain. Lointain. If you want to get started with using translation tools to improve your speaking, here are the steps. 1. Choose a word, phrase, or sentence. Think of a sentence, a word, or a phrase in the target language that you want to say. 2. Use a translation tool. Now write down the sentence you want to say in your native language in that translation tool, such as Google Translate. 3. Analyze the translation. Now look at the translation that the tool gave back to you. These are the questions you can ask yourself. Are there any words or grammar that you're unfamiliar with? Would you have said it a different way? 4. Practice speaking. Now repeat the sentence a couple of times just so you're familiar with the pronunciation and the sentence structure. As you can see, translation tools like Google Translate can help you build those sentences and learn new vocabulary when you get stuck not knowing how to say what you want to say in a foreign language. These 3 proven tips to improve your foreign language speaking skills have worked for other learners and have been shown to work in research studies. But if they still don't work for you, then be sure to check out this other video I made about more tips to speak fluently alone.